out there. No, I'm really excited to do this. I'm glad I have the opportunity.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, Max.
Thank you.
We've been excited about this one for the last week. We're like, we gotta make sure we do this right, and
you deserve a real interview, not BS questions that.
You can ask me whatever you want. I got nothing to hide.
Let's just take a look at everything here. Start up the show here in a second, guys. You want to scoot in here just a little bit, Johnny, so that your face is in there more. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Here We Are podcast. This is episode number 15. We have special guest Max Weaver here with us today. He's running for city council. He's been a local activist for probably
5 decades I've been involved in the community.
So he's running for city council.
It's kind of embarrassing to say that, you guys, because, I know how you guys feel about old white guys. You know what I mean?
I don't mind old white guys.
My purpose
I'm a Bernie guy, so I love old white guys.
I think John Skipper wrote an article here a couple weekends ago. It was Weaver's time come and gone. Well, I got news for everybody. I should just get this out now. The only person that's going to know when Max Weaver's time is up is Max Weaver. And so quit asking and quit worrying about it. When I'm done, I'll tell you.
Yeah. I think you're going to be like on your deathbed. Being like,
could be.
Still going to run.
It could happen. You know what I mean?
So anyway, guys, start off the show with the usual shit here. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, share, get it out there, help us grow our channel. To support the podcast, subscribe to the Patreon at patreon.com/double_D. There you can access all of my written work, including poetry, flash fiction, and full-length short stories. All for less than what you spend on a cup of coffee or lunch every day. Show your loyalty, help us grow, and make our dream a reality. To further support the podcast, check out our sponsor, Bingley's Teas, at janeaustinteas.com. There you can find high-end teas hand-picked and mixed by the lovely Miss Julia. Or visit Julia in person at 118 East 26th Street, suite number 208, to satisfy that deep tea addiction and be taken on a tea tour of the world. All right, guys, here we are. Episode 15, huh?
No kidding, 15.
15, yeah. We got a good little start. I read somewhere that people who start up podcasts, they usually get to episode like 10 or 11, and then they stop. So we're over that first hump.
You got over that big hump, man. That's cool. I'm glad. I hope you succeed. I love anything that gets the word out, anything that communicates. I'm not. You hear a lot of bad stuff about Facebook and stuff. I got to tell you, I'm a critical person, and I'm kind of rough around the edges. And I don't mind Facebook. I actually like.
I think it's really important.
I think it's it's got its use, and it might be being abused and stuff, but I just think it's kind of a neat tool, And this Zuckerberg guy, I guess he's in a world of trouble all the time, or they're after him for everything, and he's
Well, it's the thing, they want it censored because it allows free thought. You know what I mean? They want it to be like the corporate media where the narrative gets controlled.
I don't know if I'm a fan of his. I don't know enough about him, but a little bit that I do, he kind of concerns me. But the Facebook itself, hey, I'm not really interested on hearing if somebody's gonna, has to go take a crap, and they'll be right back. But on the other hand, it's a good vehicle to hear about friends, family, and keep in touch. And I think that's important in this day and age that we keep in touch. I think all the tribes in the world, we need to keep in touch with what's going on, and because I think the farther we get away from communication, we're going to let rumor and innuendo then take over. It's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Social media is a double-edged sword because there's all your information's out there, and then there's the aspect of addiction. I mean, people are always on their phones. Like you said, I'm going to take a crap, or they take pictures of...
There's some stuff
There's all that stuff, but in the end, I think it does more good than harm because it's made the world a smaller place. There's a time in the past where, countries and stuff could rile up nationalism and rile up racism in order to get us to go to war with other countries because we didn't know those people.
Right.
And now you could be a friend with somebody from Korea from video games or Facebook, and then you're just like, I'm not gonna go there and kill these people. This is my buddy.
Yeah,
I play Overwatch with them.
I would just assume nobody says on Facebook, "Hey, we're leaving for Colorado for 2 weeks," so I'm going to be off Facebook. While everybody else goes over and steals their gold and silver. You know what I mean? So
that's a good point.
You got to be a little wise, with the social media.
People also don't live in the moment anymore.
That's the
they
thing.
need to take a picture instead of actually experiencing it, so they can get a like.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's weird. In
Yeah,
that way too, but
that's the thing is people are. One of the things I've been doing is like if I'm going to take a picture or a video, I ask myself, why am I doing it? Am I doing it because I'm going to post it to social media? If that's the case, unless there's a business aspect behind it, I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to. But if it's because I know I want this memory, then I will take it because that's what pictures should be for and stuff.
Right.
So anyway, let's.
Anyway, I appreciate what you guys are doing here.
Yeah,
Congratulations on your 15th episode.
Yeah, number 15, man. It's cool. We're just gonna, it's building up slowly, and it's gonna take time, but eventually, I just have the sense like it's gonna take off if we put the work in. You
guys get along good too, don't you?
Yeah.
You've been riding shotgun with each other for a long time.
I mean, Johnny's pretty much my brother, dude.
We never really fight when we do fight.
I can tell you what I want to tell your audience. I want to tell your audience, Johnny is the producer and the publisher here.
Oh yeah,
Dylan puts in a lot of work. You're the loose cannon.
No,
I heard him already tell you to pull back. Pull back a little bit.
He should be, but he doesn't. I do most of the work. We're gonna be honest.
I think he said that to me, but when I heard him tell you to pull back.
Oh yeah,
you got a good guy there, man. You got a guy that's got your back.
Yeah, because I started talking about
Ed McMahon on the old Johnny Carson show. That's what he did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'd have the big old chuckle there to break Johnny's thought up.
Yeah, we were joking about. We had a joke about a banana last night, and I won't get into the details.
There's a lot of things you can do with that joke.
But I was like, I'd love to do that in the podcast, and Johnny's like, no.
He vetoed it, man.
Yeah, I'm like, you're right, but
he's got your back.
But anyway, Max, I want to talk about you a little bit. You're kind of infamous in this town. I've always thought of you as like the local wizard with like wisdom and all this stuff. Honestly, man, you've been a positive role model in my life. I've only had so many interactions with you, but people like you I see that encourage me to get involved in my community. And not only that, encourage me to be my own free spirit, because you're definitely a free spirit, and do what I want in life. Like, I don't got to work some job. Maybe I have to, but I see people like you, and it just like, yeah, dude, I can be who the fuck I want to be and do what I want to do. The type of politician that you kind of are is that even if you say I disagree with something with you, at least I know what you think. You're not bullshitting people.
Yeah, I've been doing this for 5 decades in the community. I think I got involved with a petition back in this. I know I did back in the 70s, and Southbridge, and nobody was against Southbridge. We just didn't want it built on Federal Avenue. The Globe Gazette on their internet site, they put photos all the time and they literally call it the heyday in Mason City, and they show all this bustling downtown, busy downtown, cars, traffic, foot traffic, everything they've been working for to get today. Well, they ruined it. They took it. We had it, and they took it away. Yeah. So I was in my early 20s, and I kind of started paying attention, and it's stuff like that brought me in, and I've been doing it now for long enough that you guys are just probably in middle school watching Weaver or
elementary school. I think was. Because what years were you on the city council?
I served 12 years. My first year was 1996 through 2000, and then I served 8 years between 2004 and 12. And but I was always in the back of it. That's what drives people crazy. Let's get to the thing here. Yeah. The chase. What drives people crazy is seriously, I don't know anybody else that's been thrown out of office. You know what I mean? Literally, I mean, they've come after me in so many different ways. It's really entertaining. But I show up. Even John Skipper made a comment one time. He goes, this was back in 2000, I believe. He says...
And for the audience, who's John Skipper?
John Skipper was from my perspective, he's a hired gun to bruise up Max Weaver as much as he can for the Globe Gazette. And he was he an editor? He was a writer for him. He covered the local politics and stuff. And John knows what I'm talking about.
Is he gone now?
Nope, he's still he
retired technically.
He retired. I think they put him out to pasture, and I got something else to say about that. They put him out to pasture, and they brought him back for a weekly opinion. He's the one a couple weeks ago that said maybe Weaver's time's come and gone, and he put up how many times, the 40 times that I've ran for office, or being involved, and maybe my time's come and gone. And I appreciate that, but I would never tell anybody that. You know what I mean? If their time has come and gone.
A little condescending, I'd say.
It kind of is, But I had a rough ride with him. But he even came up to me and he just says, "You really do care, don't you?" And I go, well, "What do you mean, Mr. Skipper?" He goes, "Well, I mean, you lost an election and you're right back here in the back of the room." I go, "Well, yeah, it's not about being at the front of the room. You can do just as much work in the back of the room." That's why I'm never too devastated anymore. You got to develop this for any of those that want to run for office. When you lose the first time or second time, it can be extremely hard on you, and you might not want to show your face around the community.
Yeah,
you just feel embarrassed, and you feel, man, that ship has sailed for me.
Yeah.
I'm so far gone that this election coming up here November 5th against Councilman Paul Adams, I mean, I don't think I need to tell anybody. I'll be back at the next council meeting the next week, sitting in the back of the room.
Yeah.
Just like
You'll be there.
Yeah, whether I'm at the front of the room or the back, I'll be there, and I'm going to critique and oversee, and I have a lot of questions and a lot of thoughts, and I'll just do my part. I think activism and actually, the Globe Gazette did call me an activist one time. I believe it was a community activist.
I think that's
back in
a good
in
term
the 90s.
for you. I mean, honestly, because even if you're not in the office,
Right.
you're stirring the pot and looking into things and
Well,
doing the
you brought up,
research.
Dylan, you brought up a good point. In the office. We're all in the office. The freedom of information puts us in the office. We can ask for anything. You know what I mean? It's public record.
Yeah.
The only things that aren't public record are dealing with an employee that is not doing her job or his job, and a real estate deal. You know what I mean? Where your knowledge, your public's knowledge, could impede the flow of a good deal, financially for the city.
Yeah.
So everything else is public record.
Mm-hmm.
I think people tend to forget that. You don't have to march into City Hall. You can walk into City Hall and request most anything you want. Now, the trick is not alienating too much, because they can sit on it for, I think they got like 20 days.
Yeah.
30 days to get that information to you, when actually it's pretty pertinent that you'd know, especially if you have a blog.
If there's a deal going on or something
exactly.
that's imminent
Yes.
coming up,
Right.
and, like you want to know.
Yeah, you can pass 2
sooner.
council meetings in 20 days. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're gone. Your timing's off. To take it to that Democratic microphone. So
Yeah, and a lot of times city councils, and this isn't just our city council, it's governments from the smallest level to the biggest level. Just like when we did the Preston Slaughterhouse protest, that they were just gonna
they did.
they had like a two or 3 week timeline for a huge deal for the
They
city.
had already before. I think I'm the guy who started the fire on that deal. I went to Clear Lake City Council meeting, and the Globe picked it up, and then I started getting phone calls and people were waking up, but they had already had this change of zone done.
Yeah.
They had
They had been preparing it for months.
Yeah, they snuck this thing under.
Yeah.
Actually,
That's not transparent.
Actually,
at all.
the first that I even heard of it, because I go to council meeting, I never heard of it at a council meeting or any discussion or in the minutes. I actually heard it from a guy named Matt Marquardt from North Iowa Today.
Mm-hmm.
He called me up, or no, yeah, he did. He called me up. He said, "Hey, Weave, what do you know about a stockyard coming to a stockyard?" And I go, "A stockyard? You mean the restaurant? Is there a stockyard?" He goes, "No, man, I'm talking about a pig slaughtering plant and a thing." I go, "I haven't heard nothing. Where are you hearing that at?" I said, "I haven't seen anything. It's got to go before planning and zoning, development review, all that stuff." And I go, "I haven't seen anything." Well, it was the here and alive, and they already had the zone changed. It was the worst
The
possible.
governor was involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was the worst kind of government. There's no reason for government to sneak up on anybody.
No.
And by the way, the Globe Gazette yesterday, I went there for an interview. Wow. I understand.
Yesterday you went in for an interview?
With this Jared McNett.
Okay.
He's a different kind of guy. I don't really understand him. He's just different. He asked me like 5 soft questions, and I really got lost in it. Actually, it was so soft that I got lost in my own words and thoughts. But I peeked around the corner, and the Globe Gazette. See, you guys are onto something with podcasts and blogs and social media. The Globe Gazette's almost dead. I've been in the Globe Gazette where
I've heard that
every
from other
desk,
people,
every
too.
desk was filled up. It was hustle and bustle. The other half was advertising. Man, it's almost dead. I think I counted 9 people in there, and I know their buildings for sale and that they're going to be downsized into just a I suppose a couple
Well, they're
reporters.
selling the building, huh?
Yeah, the bill. Yeah, I think they've
I
had
did not know that.
I think they had the supervisors look at the building. Sure, they don't need all that. You know,
No,
I think they
it's
made a
waste
mistake.
of money on a lease or whatever, however it is that they.
I think they made a mistake a few years ago. They bought this expensive, huge, foreign-made printing press. Took up the whole basement, and parts are hard to get, or parts are expensive. Well, anyway, now the newspaper's being printed, I think, by the Des Moines Register. That's why the news.
Well, everything's online anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
and here's
It's
the
like,
thing.
Well, not everything.
No, but
They don't put why they don't put everything on there. I heard this Anita Misich, the former superintendent of schools, wrote an essay explaining her side of things, and that was in the paper, but I never saw it online. So I wish they would do a better job of that. But they're practically dead in the water as a. You know, that's funny that the guy I'm running against, Paul Adams, Councilman Adams, his big theme is keep moving Mason City forward. Keep moving. I've heard that phrase for the last 30 years.
you hear it at every level of politics.
Yeah.
Just keep moving it forward. Well, moving it forward to where? You got KIMT, who is basically out of Rochester now.
Yeah.
We got a few of them here working here. and the Globe Gazette, as we just discussed, is going to downsize to about a 2,000 square foot building, you know what I mean? And a couple of cub reporters and a couple of advertisers that go out and sell advertising. Everything's changing, so I don't know where Paul's moving us forward. Here's what's driving me crazy. 30 square blocks downtown in Mesa City. I'm going to tell you a couple things why you should vote for Max Weaver. 30 square blocks downtown in Mesa City, bordered by Taco John's, Bertzel's, Music Man Square, the library, and Wells Fargo on Washington Avenue.
Yeah, the heart of the city there.
The heart of the city. The heyday that we had at one time that we've destroyed by mucking everything up. But
I think building like we talked about, building the mall there.
the mall was in trouble 10 years out. 1995,
Yeah.
they were in trouble. And now they're in real trouble. But here's two things. Keep moving Mason City forward. Well, I don't know what he's saying, what he means by that, but I think I have an idea. That he's saying that we got to keep putting money into downtown. And now Bill Schickel has got the new dream, and Paul has bought into it in the council, of rivaling, if you listen to the mayor's moon speech, his speech to the city that he has to give every January, he mentioned we can rival San Antonio's riverfront right here in Mason City with Willow Creek. Have you been to San Antonio's river?
I haven't.
However, that'd be like comparing the Mohawk baseball team
To the fucking Mets.
to the New York. No,
Yeah.
please don't insult them.
Yeah,
To the
but
New York
still,
Yankees.
I mean, yeah,
I can tell
okay.
I can tell you're not a baseball
I don't
fan.
know.
To the
I don't know
Yankees.
Dick.
Yeah.
And now let's give a homage to the Nationals. I'm really glad they won. You know, that was a great game last night. But anyway, they have spent in 25 years. Listen to this, young people. They have spent $125 million. All entities, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's private investment, whether it's the city. $125 million in that 30 square blocks. And I'm going to tell you something right now. You'll be hard pressed to get a piece of fudge or a cookie
Slice of pizza.
down there. I mean,
That's true.
There's nothing there.
We got a couple beer joints, which is nice.
Which is nice.
but-
What they have is nice, but I got to tell you, the same 1,500 people, we're a community of 27,000, and we're a county of 45,000, but it's the same 1,500 people that roam that 30 square blocks. It's
Yeah.
not real inviting. If you're not a regular at one of the breweries, you kind of feel obsolete. You kind of feel.
You don't even think to go down there
Yeah.
unless you're getting a glass of beer.
So I mean, for 125 million, you'd think we'd have a Stillwater, or one of the cute neighborhoods in the cities. You know what I mean? Going on, and all I'm saying is everybody that's there, it's great. Enough is enough. That's the difference between Paul Adams and myself. He's willing to keep moving Mason City forward with dumping more money in downtown. I say enough's enough.
Yeah.
And it's time to pay respect to the citizens and the taxpayers who flip the bill for everything, and start taking care of and looking at issues in the police department. We have a huge issue with the safety net. We should start looking at nobody in 2020 should be having a gravel road.
I was just going to say that. You knocked doors by
Especially
Newman.
not.
Yes, let's pave the streets. Come on, man.
They're pissed over by Newman. I've knocked doors They want to know why the money is being pushed downtown, and they can't even get a paved road.
I remember you talking about that. Was that when you were doing that?
I was knocking doors for city council candidate Matt Marquardt at the time. Yeah.
By the way, what a loser! You know what I mean, Matt Marquardt?
Yeah.
Come on, what a loser! That guy gets beat up more than I do.
I'm not going to say fuck that guy because he publishes my article.
No, but seriously, he does get beat up. Just like you. You guys both get beat up.
He gets attacked
Meanwhile, you both talk about those things.
He was real righteous when he started. I remember my first conversation with him. He kind of brought me into that world of the internet zine, or whatever they called it. Now it's North Iowa Today. I was pretty excited to have an alternative rag, paper, or information or communication, like I am with your podcast.
It is cool that he does that. I mean,
but he's soft pedaled himself now. He's done really well, I think, financially, and done some stuff. And he's got a family, and he's grown up in the last 10 years. But I wish he would follow through with what he originally started with. And I wish he'd get back to doing that.
Well, yeah, dude, on that note, Matt, if you need help, Johnny and I will do some reporting for you. We were talking about that before the show.
Yeah.
But
that's a good idea.
So you talked about a little bit about the differences between you and Paul Adams. Paul Adams is keep Mason City moving forward, right? And we want to do well for our community. Maybe forward isn't the right word, but we want to keep making progress. We want to keep doing positive things. And you talked a little bit about it. We have some infrastructure problems that need to be dealt with here. You talked about some issues in the police department. What other, if you were in the city council and if you could get other people like-minded as you in the city council, what sort of projects?
Well, I'll tell you.
Where should this money be going instead of downtown? What do we have to deal with in the town? How do we make it better?
And we all want Mason City to be better. We all want Mason City to be good. The first thing I would do, seriously, it's done every few years. The Chamber of Commerce and our local EDC, Economic Development Authority, they'll put out a survey. They'll want to know, what do you want? What do you want in town? You know, the survey came back big. We want apartments downtown. Well, but they're getting downtown in those apartments. Yeah. I'm not sure that's the answer. I mean, I wouldn't put my children, my family, surrounded by Highway 65 and Willow Creek. What's the two things you tell your kids as a parent? Stay out of the creek and don't play in the street. Yeah. Well, they got no choice there. I don't know what's going to happen.
Would they do that? They're for cheap property?
Well, they do. No, they want to build anything. Paul Adams and John Lee are so horrified over the Prestige deal that a person in town here brought forward this Renaissance thing and tacked on this. They'll build anything right now. This council will build anything, whether it's wrong or not. They just want something
because it looks
built.
like the progress.
Progress, exactly
forward.
Right, man.
Yeah.
They just don't get it. But no, we have a mental health issue in the community. Huge, man, huge.
Yeah. Do you want to
drug addiction?
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Well, I'm just saying. Most people.
I agree.
Most people don't understand it. But you know, if you just wake up in the morning and go to your job and go to the grocery store and go home and watch TV, cable. There's another reality show going on, and that's the mental health issue in the community. And if you don't pay attention, you're probably not going to see it. But it's big. It's impacting the community. And well, why did that the health services from Fort Dodge? I don't know what their name is. By Fairway, they invested it. Came over to Mason City and invested. They know we have.
They've got the mental health facility there.
We know we got a problem.
I think that's great.
It is. We know we got a problem. But I would address that. But number one, what I would seriously do, back to that survey thing, that survey is always manipulated by the Chamber of Commerce and the EDC. They know what they want. So
and not to interrupt you again, but could you explain exactly what the EDC is and what its purpose is in local government?
It's the Economic Development. They've changed their name so much. It started out as the Mason City Development Association. Then it went to the EDC, and now it's North Iowa. I can't even remember what it is. It's changed so much. But what they do is they get funded by three entities: the county, the city, and Clear Lake, up to a tune of about $150,000 or more. Millions have been spent over the last 25 years. And their charge is the job creation. Chad Schreck is the head of it this year. We've gone through at least a dozen people since 1960 when it started, and he's in charge of it now. And No offense to him at all. I don't want. He's a nice guy.
I imagine it is a
He
difficult
works hard,
job.
but it's a super difficult job. There's so much competition and so much bullshit going on in that. As we pit Main Street against Main Street in this country for the goodies and
for the bottom of the barrel
that's
opportunities.
Right. That's right. Yeah. And that's. I'm glad you said that. The bottom of the barrel, because those 9, 11, 12, 13-hour jobs aren't cutting it. They're so good you got to have 2 or 3 of them. But anyway. That's what they do. They're charged, and every now and then they put out a survey so they get some kind of leadership. They can tell us where, lead us to water and lead us to drink it. It's just not a good survey. I've never seen a good one come out of there. I'm saying we need a community discussion, number one.
Okay.
We need a community discussion so that all the tribes in the community, all the 33, 34 neighborhoods, everybody inclusive, young and old, understand who we are as a community. We need to have that discussion to where
there seems to be a separation. In
yes,
this town.
we need to get on the same page and say, listen, this is who we are. We're a rural northern Iowa community, agriculturally based. Okay, with a great location and 4 rough
between
seasons.
Minneapolis.
That's right. 4
Not just
rough,
Minneapolis, but St. Louis, Matt.
and you know what? Be thankful that we're 2 hours from the cities, 2 hours from Des Moines, and then all those others around it. Let them be the hub of entertainment. Let them be that city that we've spent $125 million downtown trying to be something that we're never going to be. You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. You're not going to be able to print enough money. The city council, Paul Adams, is not going to be able to print enough money to make Mason City something different than what it is. We're a rural northern Iowa agricultural based town with 4 strong seasons. The weather can be brutal. We have a great location. Let's key off of that and be happy with who we are instead of bringing forward every 8, 9, 10 years a $40 million project that's going to keep moving Mason City forward. You know, I think we've gone as forward as we can. I've noticed in my lifetime that one giant step forward and we'll take 3 steps backwards. And I mean, when Decker's closed, you get the mall. Well, the mall went to heck. You know what I mean? It just, number one, we don't have the population
to sustain these large projects.
We don't. We do not have we don't have the population to sustain an ice skating rink, a hockey rink downtown. The institute of that I read about, the authority on rinks, you need a population of 100,000 people and 250,000
to fill the seats.
Yes,
on a
to
regular
keep
basis.
right.
What do you say to the critics? Because I've heard this of you and of certain people in the town, like the people that were against the pork processing plant. You'll hear from people that wanted it, that Max and people like you are just against everything. You don't want anything.
No, man. You know what? I'm not. I'm very. Listen, I can prove that I'm outside the box. Someone wrote a letter the other day. My opponent, Paul Adams, that Paul is outside the box. You couldn't be more inside the box than Paul Adams. I'm telling you, Paul Adams. No offense to him, nice guy.
He is a nice guy. We did work with him on the Prestige thing.
He's a nice guy. But I never saw him at a council meeting before that. You know what I mean? That's where his birth came out of that.
To be fair, I wasn't there either.
Yeah, and he promised transparency, and he promised this, and that the government would never sneak up. Man, he's had the backs of Mike Cohan and David Rachi, the hotel, and the mall owner. He's had their backs since he's been on the council, more than he's had the citizens' backs. And his transparency went out the window. He supports everything that's there. And, I mean, let me just put it to you real simple. This is as simple as I can put it to you. This is what Paul Adams supports along with this rest of the council. They call them the team. They're the team. Well, I don't want a team in government. How's that working out for you in Washington? Democrats or Republicans?
Yeah,
we're sick of it. So anyway, this is real simple. This is a guy who supports this. We're at $1.2 million cost overrun on the hockey arena right now, so that's going to put it up to it's going to come in at about $14 million that the citizens are going to put into it. We were told right here, I keep everything, we're told right here, no property tax increase. The guiding principles for starting the Renaissance project. You guys can see that there. So anyway, it came right out of City Hall. So anyway, and Paul knows all about it. He even promoted it, the Yes campaign, no taxes. Well,
yeah, the
now
Yes campaign, I remember that.
Yeah, now it's $14 million deep. We're paying for it. Everybody, the community, is paying for it now. And guess what we're going to do with it? We're going to give it to Mike Cohan. We're going to give it to the mall owner. Just hand it over. Give him the keys and the deed. And then we've agreed.
And this guy
is
crooked as fuck.
The mall
he's a
owner,
shyster.
Yeah.
Doesn't he own a
He's
bunch
a
of
huge
places?
shyster.
Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Well,
Because
he's got anywhere between 20 and 25 defunct malls all over the country. I don't know what the heck he's doing with them. You can get.
I think he's the real estate shark.
You can do.
he's
Almost like a slumlord of malls.
If
really.
you do a deep search on him on Google, you'll read all about him all over this country.
What's his first and last name?
Well, he goes by 3 different aliases.
Oh,
I know
that
him.
doesn't seem crooked at all.
Wow.
Right. He's right,
the
right.
fuck?
His office is in New York, and he lives in Florida, and it doesn't read well. There was a bench warrant for his arrest in Worthington in the mall there. They took it away from him. He lost the mall down here in Story City.
Is that because of defected property taxes that they?
Well, yeah, he's been behind on everything. People have had to bring their own generators in for their own power. They've had to do their own deals with. You do a deep search, and I've given this information to Paul Adams and the council members. I come to the council meetings and I hand stuff over. I even had a meeting one time that Paul and John Lee would not come in and sit in. I had 50 people there, a good variety of people at the library, to learn about this, to show them that we can back out of this and do something different. And I'll tell you what that different thing is. But Paul's so inside the box that he supports this, given this $14 million thing. It's like you build a house, give it to these people, and then you pay their rent. Because that's what we're going to do. Now we've guaranteed, another thing Paul supported was a 20-year contract, lease payments, that we would pay $4.4 million over 20 years in lease payments.
Yeah.
So we not only build it for $14 million
We're paying
and
rent.
give him to it, and then we're paying the rent for it too. It's who would do that? Well, that's one of the reasons why I'm running. Now I want to tell you this. Here's outside the box. And anybody who says that I'm anti this, anti that, I'm bad this, just go down to my garden. You can't be tucked away in a little tiny box and be negative and be against everything and build what I've built at the Rancho Deluxe. I know that I outdraw.
You want to explain what that is to people?
Well, the Rancho Deluxe is just
It's an art park,
it's
really.
a figment of my imagination that exploded. I actually was going to do something there for my wife, for her to be able to read a little area for her to read, and I worked down there at a dairy, and the land came up for sale, and I got it, and I was going to make a little surprise her with a little area garden that she could drink her wine and read and knit and have her own space. I thought it'd be kind of cool. Well, it blew up. You know what I mean? I just got into it and it just went crazy.
Yeah.
And now she doesn't even go down there. She's so mad at me. She was my gardener, and so many people come down there now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no right.
And it's essentially like you've got it's an art park where you've got anything and everything that you could find, and
It's
you
all
just
been
stitched
thrown
it
away,
together
man. Yeah.
into like a cool abstract.
Kids love it. Kids love
it's
it.
really cool there.
Kids love it. The older people, you can 3 categories. There's a third of them that love it, a third of them that hate it, and a third of them don't even know it's there.
Yeah.
But
It's a really unique place.
We get
man.
lovers, muggers, and thieves. But anyway, for a guy to do that, it's not a guy that's inside the box.
Yeah, definitely not.
And that's part of how I found out about how bad the mental health issue is. I've had many incidences down there, and I try to help as much as I can. But it made me recognize that there's a certain group of people in our community that we need to help. It's the mental health thing. That's why I put that on my list of things we need to do. Well, I want to back up on this. This is the difference between me and Paul Adams. If I knew that, and if I was sitting in the council and knew that we were going to spend $24 million on a hotel and an ice arena, and remember now, the focus here is to bring young people back to Mason City and to keep young families here.
Yeah.
Well, ice arena and a hotel ain't going to do it. You guys are the 2 young people. Is it going to keep you here? No. It's so it's just goofy. Now, what I would have done, seriously, I mean this. If we were willing to do that and the taxpayers were overwhelmingly willing to support it, I'd say, listen, $24 million, $250,000 goes into that, what, 100 times, 120 times? There's $250,000 per million, so 5 times 24 would be 120. You know what I'd do? This is what I would do. I would take and say, well, okay, let's really do something here. $124,250,000. Let's put an advertisement out from the Wall Street Journal to the LA Times and all kinds of little all over the country, saturated. Let's take $250,000, our first $250,000, and advertise, I don't care, worldwide. And say, look, we're open for business. We're going to give away 100 $250,000 grants. Come with us if your ideas, young entrepreneurs.
And do your business.
Do your business. I don't care. What do you want to do?
Buy a home.
Buy a home. Come, we got a thing here. You show us what you have, and you sell us that. You're in.
That's fucking beautiful. That's
it's beautiful, man. And it's
really
outside the box.
That's a great idea.
And you know what?
You're not going to be able to come up with all that.
You know what's going to happen? Number one, we're going to have to set a committee together, small committee of 5 people, maybe a couple council members, staff, a couple bankers, an entrepreneur or 2, and they look at the paperwork. I can see how it would come in there. Welcome, May City. Julie, is it? Julie, it says here that you would like to build a 60,000 square foot climbing wall. You'd like to. That's your dream to be. And it says you've managed one. You've had one in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and that. Well, Julie, I got to tell you, we've reviewed your idea. The committee here, we see what you want to do, and we're going to give you that grant, $250,000. We've got the 5.
I just got excited as fuck.
We've got the 5. We've got
That's
5 financial institutions here locally. They're going to work with you. You made it, Julie. Congratulations.
And then they're here for life.
Yeah, they're going to invest in
And
Mason
so are
City.
their kids
Now,
for
here's
the
one.
next
Here's
20
one.
years.
Oh, here's Nick. Nick. Old Nick. That's your nickname, Nick? Well, Nick, you know what? We looked through your plans, your review. We saw it. We ran it by our bankers and our entrepreneurs and our some council members. And we decided we're choosing you. And you're going to build... Folks, we're going to get a brand new bowling alley, a disco/bowling alley. Sounds like in Kansas City, your family had a bowling alley. You grew up in that, and that's very successful there. And you want to welcome to Mason City, Nick. We're going to get ourselves a bowling alley too. That's what I'm talking about.
That's actual organic growth. That's going to keep people here. It's going to keep the entrepreneurs here, and it's going to be like, oh, why do I need to move away?
It's going to put Mason City on the map,
and it's going to make jobs that people actually feel at home in. If you're working at fucking these factories or these food processing places or all these big retail giants, dude, you're just a cog. But if you're working at a mom and pop rock climbing place or a brewery or a restaurant,
you know what? It could be a shirt shop,
like,
shirt shop, a coffee shop,
a pizza
place, bar, a pizza place,
podcast studio where people come in and everybody does different podcasts.
That's how I would have spent that money, and I'll tell you what, it put Mason City on the map. But I want to clarify something.
What's up?
And I know you weren't bad-mouthing it, but we do need factories, and we do need big box. We do need those other things. What we lack in this community is serious diversity. And again, that's what I like to say, too, is that's why you need one Max Weaver on the city council, because you got 6 lockstep people representing you and the mayor. I'm telling you.
There's no one to counter their narrative.
You guys keep this going a second. I got these bathrooms.
But that's exactly what I would have promoted and said, look, we're going to give out we're going to give out $250,000 grants.
And have you ran this idea by the people on the city council?
Oh, what are they? You can't talk to the city council like that. I tried to have Paul Adams and John Lee at the library at a meeting. Plenty of witnesses. They sat down in another room because they didn't want to hear about Plan B and the $1.2 million that we could have had to refurbish the hockey arena out at where it belongs at the North Iowa Event Center.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but who in the hell designed the recreation center down the new event center downtown? That thing, I
haven't even really. I've looked at it a little.
You know,
bit,
it looks like more of a refrigeration place for.
Well, and it's not going to be strictly a hockey rink, right? Like, isn't it going to be open for different events sometimes? Well, I'm a little unclear on that.
Johnny, everybody is. It's coming up this Tuesday at the council meeting where they're going to be talking about it, and I've looked at it, the numbers, and quite frankly, I don't know how they're going to pull off having all the things they said they were going to have there. And now they got some competition. They've got, I guess the school board's looking at putting a new pool and a gymnasium standalone out there at the high school. That'll take away some of the thunder of what they promised to have down here, AAU tournaments and stuff. I mean, when I graduated in 1970, there was 645 students. Today there's 300 students in Mason City, and why they need triple or quadruple the facilities, I'm not sure why, but it's going to impact this place. And no, the hockey group, they're a serious group. It's not for everybody. It's terribly expensive to play hockey, but they're going to have to figure out how they're going to let that floor up in 7 months that they control it. If there's going to be any, I mean, most of the people in the summertime want to be on their deck outside, grilling, barbecuing, breathing the fresh air, and they don't want to be inside of a indoor concert. That's why the bingo parlor, the casino up north has concerts outside and free ones for that. But when you start to take the dates of Nyack and the casino, Friday night, Thursday Night Live at Clear Lake, Friday nights here, Greek Fest, you start taking all the things that happen in the 5 good months that we have, there's not much time to have any events there. You know what I mean? Now, you might get an old, I suppose, Brett Michaels. How many times can you see Brett Michaels? I bring Brett Michaels I'm sure they'll be there. I'm sure Brett Michaels will be in that sometime. And on a Tuesday night or Wednesday night. You know what? For the most part, the wages around here won't afford that type of entertainment because people can't afford to go to all the variety of entertainment we do have already. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to fit the schedule in there. Mr. Burnett made a comment at the last council meeting that the door's getting knocked down for people want to use it for different things. Well, I hope they can be successful. I know that the hockey, and I haven't seen that agreement. It's a pretty secretive agreement, sort of. But I haven't seen in that agreement, if it's in there, who gets to use it and when. Because you got to cover that ice up. Yeah. You got to put the chairs down. You're going to take away 2 days of hockey.
Yeah.
And if you have 8, 9, 10, 15 concerts over the winter months, the 7 months that they have it, that's 30 days of lost hockey. They're not going to tolerate that. That's not going to happen. So I'm really concerned about that too. And the biggest charge that I can see, the biggest thing in front of us right now is well, they dumped it on the laps of the taxpayers, the citizens. How are they going to pay for it? It's going to be $1 million overhead. Mm-hmm. And how are they going to?
And just for mainly a hockey thing, it just,
for hockey.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, if that would have
not to bash hockey, but I don't.
Well, let's bash hockey a minute. There's more people that golf than play hockey. There's more people that swim at our pool than play hockey. There's more people on the softball diamonds.
It's not a major thing around here.
Yeah. It's not. We're not Minnesota, and whoever sold this, the people that sold it to the council and brought it forward, I think they were pretty involved in hockey. And, they got the attention of the council, and as you know, a council can do pretty much what they want, and they did. And I gave them,
you said, anything.
I gave them opportunities for Plan B to get out of this big deal that they're doing and still get what they wanted. Paul Adams and John Lee, they didn't want to listen to me, and I gave them an opportunity at the library. And actually, I sent 3 or 4 people down to get them, to bring them down to and they just stood in the wall. They never really answered anything or said anything or did anything. So I'm there's multiple reasons why other than I can do a better job and have the backs of the citizens of Mesa City better than Paul Adams.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I want to say. You talked that you're a different candidate. You're out of the box, right?
Right.
To me, and I think anybody who knows you, whether they agree with you or not, can agree that you're a people's candidate.
Absolutely.
And I say that especially because it seems like in every community and every level of government, there's a bourgeoisie or a ruling class, it seems like, that makes all the decisions. And a little town like this is no exception. And from what I have seen and by the decisions that have been made, our local government here, in one way or another, is ruled by realtors, contractors, financiers, in large businesses.
Chamber of Commerce, man.
Exactly.
They've got the keys to City Hall.
It's gross.
She's got the keys to City
And
Hall.
you know what? We're willing to dump exorbitant amounts of money into all these projects that...
And we do.
I'd love to see them succeed. I'm not going to sit
No,
here and be
we
like, I
all
want it
do.
to fail. I want it to succeed.
Right.
But the thing is, then you bring up this idea about giving grants to people that actually want to start a business. Come live here. Maybe we'll even, if you buy a house, we'll waive your property taxes for X amount of years so that you can do all these things to help them.
We don't want to fight City Hall.
When it comes to that, there's not money. Oh, we can't afford to do that. We can't afford to give an average American working class family the chance to achieve their dream, but we can just shovel money into the burner of the Chamber of Commerce and these big real estate and contractual development deals that sound like a huge hockey arena that like we'll do. It sounds badass, but like you said, there's all these issues of do we have the population? Who's paying for it?
You're talking about that class and control. I'll give you one example. And you're right. We all want everyone to succeed. We really do. I'm not a person that sits at home and is a hater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not at all. I'm a thinker, actually. And we all want. It's just too bad that I'm not a graduate of MIT. I was a juvie, kind of a rough kid in the thing, and did a lot of raising hell and didn't.
Well, you're a fucking American original. I'll tell you that.
That's right, and so I don't have the silver tongue, and I didn't have the silver spoon, and I am all those things that people see, but I'm not all those things once you get to know me. There's way more to me than that, but I know that, and I'm very forgiving, and but I want to say this to you: there is one of those examples of who controls the stuff. How in the hell did the Chamber of Commerce? Now you got to go to the Chamber of Commerce's website and see they're the largest political PAC in the country, number one.
And they're very right wing.
It's not just like a little local thing.
Whatever right wing is,
they're very.
That's for you to read, and you determine what they are. But go see who they are. How in the hell did they wind up with $1.5 million of our tax money for a brand new, beautiful Chamber of Commerce on Federal Avenue?
Which isn't even open to the public, is it?
Well, you can. I think you can rent some space there. I think you're welcome to go in there with any questions. Good luck with that. But all I'm saying is how did that money get built? Where was the demand for a new Chamber of Commerce? All the things that we need in this community. It really blew me away.
$1.5 million to pay the mortgage of like 100 to 1,000 families in this town for like X amount of years.
Well, all I'm saying about that concept is of $250,000 grants is that's exactly what you're paying for right now. $24 million investment in a hockey arena and a hotel,
not including the money after.
And so all I'm saying is if John Doe and Jane Doe in this community were willing to do that, why not spend it wisely and put out the grants and put a shout out to the world that Mason City is open for business, and we're giving these $250,000 grants, not 10,000, not 30, $250,000, and we're going to work with you. And I think Mason City would just have exploded. But
I really do.
I mean, that was a great idea.
And here's
put me on the city council, and you'll have a lot more great ideas coming. Plus the watchdog. Some people, have accused me. The Globe Gazette's accused me of being a tack dog. I can get a little antsy and a little aggressive and a little. I admit it. I admit it. But I'm also the other side. I can be a real good watchdog, and I can be a real good thinker, and I am outside.
Well,
the
you're
box.
already doing that anyway. That's why you're in the back of the room all the time.
And I am doing that to a certain extent. Yeah, that's why somebody. I guess I could make this statement to you. This election coming up next Tuesday. Well, it's basically all over.
And you can vote.
But the crying, you know what I mean?
And you can vote right now, right?
Yeah, you can vote right. You can go to the courthouse and vote. You know what? I don't ask you for money. I don't send out a flyer. Hey, I need help. I got a guy, Max Weaver. He's nuts. We don't want him in there. Send me a check. Send me your checks. You know what I mean? Build my. It'll be interesting to see how much money Paul Adams raised after this. You go to the Iowa Ethics Campaign Finance, and you'll look it up and see how much he spent, or if he sat on it, he hoarded it for his. Like I told you, he's just warming his seat at the council to get down to Des Moines.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to say this too. A real nice young lady. I don't know her real well. I know her family. Really good people. She actually got a hold of me over this election and shared some information. And I was very welcoming that. And anyway, I sat down with a group that she's kind of spearheaded. Well, she's a big Republican. Okay? Mm-hmm. And what I found out is just by meeting with her, and she does a lot of good work from her side of the street, that people have wanted to make this Democrats versus Republicans, because Paul Adams is the Democratic darling. The head of the Democratic Party has got a sign in her yard, and I'm just saying, there's a reason why you don't declare a candidacy, a political party in the local elections, because you want to keep that out of it as much as you can.
It's not
about
necessary.
the community.
Yeah,
It's not about
and since
parties.
I did that, I'm just beat up as being this a Trump supporter and a Republican and this. And I got to tell you, I'm a registered independent for many, many years. I look at the person. I don't look at the party anymore. I look at the person who's going to do the best job. But I'm hung up on this thing here now. Now they want to label you all the time.
Oh yeah.
And I can see it.
It discredits you.
Yeah, exactly. And I just wish they would let that go and look at each candidate and who's going to be the best. And I'll tell you this. Again, Paul Adams has had the back of a couple shysters and the Chamber of Commerce in this community, and he's forgotten about the citizens. And as a council member, that's your biggest charge, is protecting the citizens of Mason City. That's what you take the oath of office of, is to be there for them. And I've proven that. I've proven that I have the backs of the community and the citizens, all different tribes. I'll show up. I'll help you out. And that's a big difference. And here's another thing I want to say. This thing has been so quiet.
This election.
This election has been so quiet.
You know
Yeah,
what?
they're not
I
talking
didn't
about
even
it.
know about it until a couple of weeks ago, man.
It's been so
I saw a
quiet.
sign and I was like, wait.
Paul Adams has refused to debate me. He's had 2 opportunities. He's said no to both of them. I've said yes. And the Globe Reporter was going to be at one of them. And they were legitimate, and he doesn't want to do it. I know he told a mutual friend of ours that he goes, I'm far enough ahead over Weaver that I can afford to lose 100 votes, because I don't debate. Well, what's that say about the rest of the community? He should let people know who he is. I'm certainly putting it out there today and every day, and you know who I am, and what you're going to get. And I know some people are worried about that, but my heart's in the right place, and my 5 decades of involvement has always been in the right place, and I've always had the community's back. So,
And you're extremely knowledgeable about things that.
Well, I kind of
You're very informed.
I'm very informed. I've made
You're
it
not
my
going to
business.
go in there not knowing what's going on.
I've made it, Johnny. I've made it my business to know their business, and I think anybody should do that. What do you have in your life, really? In no particular order. You have yourself. Mm-hmm. You're in charge of taking care of yourself, and believe me, I know that. I mean, I'm at 68 years old now. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things I wish.
You're still running pretty strong for 68. I don't think I'm going to be as fucking.
Well, you got to
ripped in
take
the
care of
shape as you are,
yourself.
man.
So you got yourself.
You got too many bad
You got
habits.
your family. Okay. You got your work, your job, your passion. You got your religion, and you got your politics. Those are the 5 things that will impact you: your relationships, your politics, your job. It's real simple. 5 things are going to impact you, and I know that. I wish everybody else would know that. But the fact is, we have 20,000 registered voters in Mason City.
Yeah.
20,000 registered voters. We'll be lucky to have 5,000 people vote. That means there's
Lucky.
50. Yeah.
That's when elections are being talked about for months.
It might even be
I
less
don't
than
even
that.
think it's going to be that much this time around.
So what I want to say today on this podcast is, I'm speaking to you 14,000 people that aren't going to vote out there. Get off your asses and vote for Max Weaver. I know you want me in there, and you are my voters. You've got more in common with me than my challenge, the guy I'm challenging. Just do the right thing. Take the time out. Takes 10 minutes to go vote. 14,000 of you. Because the next day after the election, what happened? Weaver didn't get elected again. He said he should just quit. Why does he bother doing it? Well, I'm trying to wake you up, and it's been really hard to get that done because I don't raise funds. I don't send out brochures. I can't afford a $500 2-day ad in the Globe Gazette. Who can do that? I can't do that. I stay close to my own money. I know you are too. I mean, I just can't ask, any donations accepted, $10 to $500. I'll take whatever. I read those reports all the time. Again, on the Iowa Finance and Campaign thing, you can see who donated what.
Yeah.
And when I see somebody that donates $250 against me, or $500, I know those are the ones that, man, I wonder what's their real impression of me, because they got to be kind of scared. Who in the hell would give $250 to somebody?
Somebody's got money to burn.
I guess so.
I was gonna have you make an epic. That was good. I was gonna have you do that like right at the end, but that worked out nicely.
What's that?
Just like
Your
address the voters and stuff.
That was good.
So we'll probably have you do like a quick minute or two thing at the end here, just to be like, get out.
Hey, we're having fun here, but we're serious, aren't we?
But yeah, I wanted to touch on a couple of things that we already kind of covered them, but I'd like to elaborate on them more. You talked about your idea of instead of investing all this money into a big project and then just handing over to a rich guy who's essentially a thief, we give that money to working class families and stuff. I want to talk. I was born and raised here in Mason City, and you talked about there being tribes, right? And they're the neighborhoods, right? And everyone has its own personality and different, and the people there are even a little different.
Right.
You got your Asbury, your Eastbrook, the area over by Hy-Vee East. That's
the North End.
And that's what I'm going to say is I'm a North End kid, and we see all these things done in mostly downtown, but the Eastbrook, they got nice roads. All these places got nice roads over by Newman. That's like another little
Central Heights, Midland Heights, Central Heights.
It's just completely no one gives a fuck about it. But I'm going to talk about the North End because I am a North End kid and I identify with that. The North End has had a lot of fucking problems for a lot of long ass time, and there's no opportunity over there. There's no jobs. There's no businesses. The properties are all slums and owned by guys who don't give a fuck about their tenants. The drugs are out of control. That North Federal is such a cool area. Like the way when you come, that could be so epic when you're coming into Mason City. It could be like, wow, this is a cool fucking town. But it's just rotting away into the ground. You got drug addicts running the streets. And I think your idea of doing these grants, and maybe we could stick some of the people in there if they want a restaurant or something. What are some things that we can do to get the North End, which is essentially our city's slum? Dude, a town of 27,000 shouldn't have a fucking slum. What can we do? Do you have any ideas?
Well, it's back to
help bring it up to par with the rest of our city.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Because it makes me mad because I identify with that neighborhood.
And you want to know something? The greatest history in Mason City, seriously, and they've met with the University of Iowa students and stuff to talk about the North End, but they're not getting the essence of it. They're not really getting deep enough into the root of everything and where it's gone. But the North End, starting at the Holy Family Church, that neighborhood right there was an elegant, crazy, wild, beautiful neighborhood.
It was, yeah. I've seen pictures, man.
It was beautiful, and then going north. As you know, it was all based around the sugar beet and the cement plants and the Deckers and the railroads. And what a strong neighborhood it was. A lot of diversity.
You can still feel it, even though it's got all these problems. You can just feel the history here.
Yeah.
Like there's ghosts walking around the street.
You know what? I love that analogy because it's true. That history was so thick. In North Federal, too, the businesses that were there, the old B&O drug.
It looks,
and you see all the old buildings. You can just tell.
Doug's Sandwich Shop, and you're like, "What was here?" And it's just, it makes me.
Yeah. And
I'm from that block, like that.
Well, number one, like I said, I want to back up.
Okay.
We need a community conversation to understand who we are. You know what? I tell you what. Here's what we can do. This is a radical outside the box. My block that I live on has got 6 Section 8 houses on it. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's put 6 in Asbury. I want them to know what it's like to have Section 8 houses. You know what I mean?
Oh,
why are they?
You can't be doing that, Max.
God, and whoever created the homeowners association. That's as elitist as you can get. You know what I mean?
I know it.
And so they're out there protected. But let's give them 6 or 7 Section 8 houses. And some of the landlords to go with them that we have, and let them be out there and spread the wealth, spread the news, spread the fun, and then let's have a conversation. But I'm just saying, to get real, We need a real community conversation to get real comfortable with who we are in all of our nakedness and all of our tribes and all the things that we do. And we need to understand each other. Number one, let's quit bad-mouthing the North End, for God's sakes.
Dude, it pisses me off.
There's as much problems in this town anywhere you want to go. I tell you what, it's the company you keep. And if you want to be an asshole in any one of the 33 or 34 neighborhoods, you're going to meet that company. You're going to meet your demise. Mm-hmm. And it can happen anywhere in this town. So number one, we just got to know who we are, accept who we are, quit. It's like technology. The money we pump into downtown, that $125 million downtown, is separating the downtown from the rest of the community. It's like, well, I'm not going to go down there. There's nothing there for me. I can't even get a pair of blue jeans or a cookie, like I said, or a piece of fudge, or I don't want to pay 60, 70, 80 bucks for a meal with my wife. I can't do that. Or a $6, $8 glass of wine when I can go out to Aldi's and buy a bottle of wine for
exactly right.
$2.67. There's a big, huge separate. We got to get over that of ourselves. We've truly got to bring in, and I'm that guy. I'm all for that. I'm a neighborhood guy. Let's bring it all in. It's time to start paying attention to the rest of the community and not just the downtown. Make them feel a part of our town. And Dylan makes a good point. We're only 27,000. We shouldn't have any ghetto-type neighborhood feel to it.
There shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be.
There's no reason.
There shouldn't be. And
Max, can I tell you, dude?
Yeah.
Growing up in that neighborhood, I felt like a fucking second-class citizen my whole life. You know, you tell people, oh, I live on, Pennsylvania, 5th and Pennsylvania. People fucking look at you different, man.
I think you're right.
And
I see that.
And it's frustrating, man. I had an epic speech I want to give about it, and I'm kind of duncing out on it now, but it's like...
I get what you're saying, man. And we got to get over that. And that's where the communication comes in. You're not going to get this communication from this city council, from Bill Schickel. Bill Schickel, he doesn't have a clue. All he knows how to do is walk up and down State Street and parade around State Street and give his weekly report with his thumb at City Hall.
That's why you didn't win this last election. You got to do the thumb, man.
I got to do the thumb thing.
Try it. I'm telling you. At the end, when you give your little go-to,
you got to smile more.
I got to tell you guys something. I got to say something to you. With all the bullshit out there about me, somebody in the community just kind of railed on me one time and said, I've done a lot of good work in the community and you're all folklore. It's all about you. You're the folklore.
Dude, you're a fucking myth, dude. I swear to God.
I told my brother you were going to be on, and he was like, he went to tell his wife,
dude,
and he's like, I realized she doesn't know who you are because she's from Des Moines.
People are like,
well, let me tell you something, guys. I got to tell you something.
Yeah.
I put my pants on one leg at a time just like the rest
I don't
of you.
believe you.
Anyway, now listen. I'm really a nice guy. I'm very approachable. I mean, I like people. It's none of those things. I don't avoid anybody at the grocery store.
I always see you talking to someone in public. You're always chatting about
I liked it when you came to my job because I just talked to you for an hour and I didn't have to do shit.
Yeah, I've thought about that too. I'm going, God, I'm going to get Dylan fired, man. I keep hitting you up. Yeah. Well, you know what? I like to stay in touch with the young people. I got two young boys, you know what I mean? And it's all about the young people. I'm going to tell you right now, you're our future. Who's going to wipe my ass in 10 years when I'm sitting in the nursing home? It's going to be, and that's another thing.
And I will say, as a young person here, the goal is to leave Mason City. And
it's too bad that it makes me sick. My son's in Denver, one of my sons, and I wish he would be back. I wish he would have been a recipient of the $250,000 grant and come back, because he's got some great ideas,
Well, your idea of doing that,
we would have been
changed what young people think about here.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I do want to come back. So, like, what can we do? Other than just the grant program, I think that will go a long way. But what can we do to break the power of the slumlords on the North End? What can we do to do some sort of revitalization program like we're doing downtown? Can we do something like that on Federal?
They have plenty of the core up and down Highway 65 north and south are in programs where you can rehabilitate housing and stuff. As far as the programs for rental units and stuff, I'm not sure what they have available. I've only been to one landlord association, and it's the only one I'll probably ever go to again. It wasn't a good time there. I guess it went wrong. I thought I enlightened people, but It got bad, but no, there's programs. There's plenty of programs, plenty of grants, plenty of stuff that's out there that we can tap into. It's whether or not we have the energy. Let me just give you the comparison. Clear Lake, a town of what, 8,000 people, 7,000 people.
Yeah, right around there.
Look at everything they're doing there. And look how thankful we should be that they're 10 miles away, because they do everything in the summertime. They have, they're always busy on the weekends. They're always got.
It's literally the Nantucket
Yeah.
of the Midwest.
And it's good that we have that. But if they can do it, if their leadership can do it, if their chamber members, the Chamber of Commerce is willing to take your money, and all you really get for it is minutes of their meetings. It's the one percenters that get invited.
You get the chamber box, wherever they call it.
So if they can do it at Clear Lake, we can do it here. We just don't have the I don't see the dedication to the willingness to get to know our community. And again, that's the community conversation.
Because then how do we all get on board?
They don't want to meet. They don't want to meet. They don't want to meet anybody from 12th Street North. You know what I mean?
No.
They all have that.
We're
Most
the
people,
unwashed masses up
the
there,
leaders in the community, as I see it right now, they know how to get to their work. They know how to go downtown to have a drink. They know how to take their kids to school, and they know how to get to their favorite grocery store.
And
But other than that, if you ask them, hey, have you ever been? Have you ever seen the new? Have you ever seen the new monument? That great monument somebody put up on North 65.
the mural?
No.
Oh.
No. You go past. It's on McCluskey's McCluskey Appliances property, just north of them. Somebody put a monument
I haven't even seen
on
that.
Highway 65.
Don't even
I
think
stopped
I've
and
seen
parked
What
there.
is it
Took my
for?
wife. I took my wife and my son and his girlfriend that were here from Colorado, and I said, "You got to check this out." And I went there and I looked at it. It pays homage to the North End. What you're talking
way.
about.
I'll have to go
You should
check
go
that
read
out.
it all. It's got the cement
Somebody
plants.
just did it?
Yes, put it up there. I never saw it come through council. I didn't see it anything. I'm just saying it's outstanding.
Yeah.
Now we got to
Move
capture.
your mic that way.
We got to capture that guy or that gal who did that, and see what their motive was, or what.
I'd like to get her number, and that'd be a nice NIT piece.
That's outstanding down there, and that's kind of how it starts, maybe we just need a mini revolution in the community and start painting on the walls around town and start building the Rancho Deluxes and start having fun in Mason City.
Yeah, I would love to see your Rancho Deluxe, and that old railroad that goes through?
Yeah, that's the Highline Trail.
Yeah, I would love to see that converted, and maybe if we could keep the tracks too, because it's a piece of history. If we could see that converted into like a nice bicycle trail,
That's
or
what
something.
they're going to do. It's called the Highline Trail. They're going to make a bicycle trail, 5 miles of it. But don't hold your breath on that trail, because the Chamber and Bill Schickel's dream of the waterfront rivaling San Antonio is going to bump them dollars to get. I don't know what they're going to do. There's not enough real estate between West Park, the tennis courts, Parker's Woods, or to the library to do much anything with.
Yeah.
But he's got a dream, and so does the Chamber, of making that. And I know, 4 or 5 people live under that bridge under Delaware, that new bridge. They got disrupted this summer. I kind of laughed. Some of us rode our bikes around there, and we talked to a couple of the homeless people down there living under the bridge, and they said they were getting the hell out of there because of all the jackhammering started and stuff. And but I don't even think our leaders in the community even are aware of that. They're not aware of so much, because they have their own well-worn paths to wherever they got to go, and they try to avoid the rest of us.
Yeah.
And here's what's funny. This is what's funny.
They're the ruling class, and they don't want to mix with.
I want to get this out there because it's really funny. When I'm working at my garden, the Rancho Deluxe, I get a lot of traffic and a lot of people stopping by. I've had weddings, funerals, union meetings, conversations, church, tour buses. They were told not to come there anymore. One of the tour buses still brings them by. But all kinds of stuff. Not to mention all the photographs at prom and weddings and, But anyway,
we should do some thumbnails there.
Here's what I can tell. I'll recognize some people from Mason City, and they're in their car, and in the back seat are their friends visiting from Ohio or California, or their families come back. Well, the people in the front seat will just keep looking straight ahead. They won't look at the garden. They won't look over at the garden. But the people in the back that are visiting here they want, stop. We want to get out and walk around and take some pictures.
Yeah, it's badass.
But the other people just sit in the car because they're they don't like Max Weaver and they don't like the Rancho Deluxe. I can feel it. I feel it every day. There's
I don't know what's not to like about it.
like
It's
that.
awesome. I want to touch on the North End thing one more time. This is an idea that I've had, and I'm not as well versed on the procedures and the programs and things. But one of the big things that keeps that place in a state of being a slum is you got these landlords that own a lot of these houses and the facades. It's just terrible, right? I don't know if there's some kind of program or grants, you'd know more about that than me, where perhaps the city, even if we got to overpay for them, could buy some of these houses from the landlords, and obviously there's inner dealings with that. The city could buy some of these houses that are still structurally sound, renovate them, and then mortgage them out to families. Like you said, put the word out, hey, we buy these homes,
Right.
renovate them, make them nice.
Well, here's what I want.
And then
Dylan,
we say, hey, we got 20, 30 houses here.
Yeah.
You come,
I'm
we'll mortgage
I'm
it
gonna
to
do
you, and we won't make you pay
I'm gonna-
property
I'm gonna
taxes.
do
And
you-
that'll bring up property values and make
I'm
them look
going to do
nicer.
you one better. First of all, you need to know this. There's a house sitting at the 400 block of First Street Northeast that the city purchased,
Okay.
and they revamped it. I think they probably got close to $80,000 to $100,000 in it. It's for sale for $50,000. It's been for sale for 3 years.
That's pretty
It's
cheap.
sitting right
too.
down. It's a nice house, all redone. Yeah, it's reasonable,
good
very
price.
reasonable, but it's no takers. I don't understand it, but that was their experiment there to
And see if it would
to
work.
clean up that neighborhood right there because who lived up
The
in
400
there.
block, refresh me.
Yeah, it's down by where the Stockman House is. It's just a
All right.
block to
Yeah.
the south of
Okay.
Rancho.
Yeah, all
But
right.
here, I'm going to do you one better now. This is something I wasn't going to mention, but I'm going to mention it. We've got a heck of a gym in the community that we're ignoring that could be just outstanding, and we should go after it. And it's in the North End. It's the whole North End. It borders the whole North End. The cement plant. The old Northwestern cement plant, the Wholesome cement plant, that whole giant facility, and all that land that goes with it there.
Yeah, there's a huge
You know what?
stretch.
If we took that, this is outside the box thinking.
And this is the shutdown plant,
This is
correct?
the shutdown. It's been mothballed. It's just sitting there.
No plans of it ever opening.
What's it
again.
There's even a bridge. There's a bridge that goes over Highway 65 to the other cement plant land that would border on the Highland Trail, the bicycle trail. Come on, man. Keep up with me now. We take all that. We go to the corporate, Honan or Merck or that Merck's Northwestern or Lehigh, whoever owns it, and we approach them and say, "Look, we'd like to buy that. It's going to cost millions to
It's
tear it
going to
down.
be a big deal. Yeah.
And if we say, look, we want to take it over, blah, 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 and all your land right there, you know what we could do with that great bridge going across 65 and that big field and then that big land over here and then that facility. We can make that a artist, entrepreneurial, repurpose the whole facility, do things with it. Can you imagine I think they called it number 7, the silos.
Yeah.
If they were painted, how the murals.
Yeah, that would be
you'd
amazing.
You'd bring millions of people to the
Yeah,
community
because
over a
people love
10-year
this.
period.
People love to see
And
that.
you know what
stuff.
would pop up around that? Little shops, little restaurants, a little burrito joint. Not that we need any more burritos, but
There's always more room for burritos.
There is. We eat, man. That's we got a key in on
Everybody
food.
does it different.
We eat here in North Iowa. We're eaters.
I would
But
love
I'm
to see
saying,
restaurants
They
on
can
that
take
North
that
Federal.
land. They can take that land and get so creative with it and do so many different things. There could be trails within there. There could be little. You could do the motorcycles. You could all kinds of stuff. It'd be like a giant old cement plant park. And I'm so sick of hearing the first word out of everybody's mouth when I talk like this. Liability. You know what? Take some goddamn responsibility for yourself and don't put
Like
yourself
people getting hurt and
yeah,
shit?
don't put yourself in harm's way, you know what I mean, and blame someone else for it.
Yeah,
But
we have
anyway-
a nanny culture now that just castrates
Yeah.
so much stuff.
Well, that's a good comment.
Well, you
I
can
like
get in
that.
trouble for letting your kids play outside alone, can't you?
Yeah, I think you
Bro,
can.
when we were kids,
DHS might get called because your kids don't.
Yeah, Johnny and I were like the
the.
last generation of like you could shoot your friend's eye out with a pellet gun and then it would just be a great story later on.
Yeah, I would say like our it really kind of was.
It was the start of it.
I'd say the late '80s probably, but
Well,
I think
Who
that
knows?
woman
It's
that
hard to-
spilled the hot coffee on her lap got the big settlement from McDonald's.
That was the beginning
That kind
of
of got
it.
it going. But we have a diamond in the rough
Yeah.
with all that cement plant that borders everything there.
you know what you could do there?
Well, go ahead, man.
One idea?
Yeah.
Paintball park.
paintball park. They took our paintball park away. I mean, we didn't really have a legitimate one, but it was off Birch Drive, and it was a great place.
Yeah, a lot of kids also went to that fucking, what was it? You know, evangelical church, kind of across the way.
Yeah,
there
yeah,
is that what it was?
Yeah, that was.
We used to play there all the time until I got hit in the eye, and then.
Well, they started building down there, and they didn't want all that noise and racket.
It was so much fun. We used to have.
But you know, a paintball park would be outstanding.
And you know what? Use that grant to have some motherfucker come and do it and rent out guns and shit.
You know what?
And sell equipment.
Here's just one more thing. I'm just saying. I've been thinking about this for a long time. This whole area, and there's another buddy of mine who's way ahead of me in that thought of using the North End. And when we get together, we really I learn a lot from him, and he picks up some things from me. But you know, one of those neat things that I saw here a few years ago, somewhere in Iowa here. They flood a silo with ice, and they come from all over to climb the ice on the silo. It's all
no way.
You know, the silos we have out here.
That's badass.
We could become international climbing. I mean, it'd be outstanding.
That liability, though, man.
Oh, you know what? I'm so sick of hearing that. It stops so much good stuff. But that's a diamond in the rough. If anybody noticed what was just tours alone, if somebody could have a business just giving people tours of the old plant, going up the.
I would love to see that. That's a really cool.
People
idea.
would love to go through there and hear about it. What they was.
And you know what? We'll have to figure out the logistics, and it'll be a process. But we could do it.
It could be done. It could be done, and it could. Another thing that would put Mason City on the map, other than another hotel and the hockey arena.
Yeah, all this stuff.
By the way, I want to say something to you.
Same.
I've done my research. Less than 400 people. This is the truth. Now there'll be a honeymoon period where my numbers might be off, but it'll go back down. I'll tell you that. But less than 400 people put skates on and skate on ice around here.
Yeah, I don't do that.
That's the old timers.
I've skated once.
That's it's.
And I don't even think it was here.
The figure skating group. I think back in the day they had well over 100 people, 130 people. Now they're down to 40 to 60.
Well, in another hotel too.
In another hotel.
We have how many hotels?
Clear Lake is stealing our thunder.
Yeah,
what is 6 years for all the hotels?
6 years to get this thing going. That ought to be another signal.
They've already got it through in like a year?
Yeah, they got it done in a year, and they're going to have groundbreaking in 2 weeks.
And what I understand, it's a lot cheaper, too. And you know what? Dude, I think you and I had this conversation before either. They're not even filling up the rooms in the hotels that already are.
No, it's 67% off.
How many hotels do we have here?
8?
Enough.
9?
Enough, but I want to say this, go on the record as saying this. I got a feeling they've extended Rachi's for his financial reasons because he can't get financing of the hotel. They've extended it now till March 31st of 2020. The council, the newspaper, nobody said that, but that's a bad sign. Mm-hmm. And all that I'm saying is by the time that those months run by, this David Rachi is going to put about $1 million in his pocket. He's already up to $800,000 of free money. And all we got for that money right now, all we got for that money, and this has all been okayed by Paul Adams, is a possible Hyatt hotel. Yeah. Now they have to do their due diligence, and here's what's going to happen. This Rachi guy knows what he's doing. He's going to run the clock out on this thing here till Clear Lake gets growing, and then he's going to come back to the council and say, I've talked to the Hyatt, the capacity around here is full. We don't need any more hotels. Mm-hmm. So that $1 million that you've given him to keep him interested and given is in his pocket, and he's off.
Well, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. And
that's what a lot of
irresponsible of this city council and Bill Schickel and the others who.
I mean, dude, the thing is, they think they know what they're doing. But they don't look at the big picture of like how much money they're throwing away and how little they're getting in return.
Well, and a lot of
they just look at the immediate, like, oh, we got something done.
Like they just want anything to look like they.
Some of the die-hard people who wanted that pork processing plant. The one guy, he was a real estate guy, and then he up and left after because he wanted to have a bunch of places.
Yeah. What was his
name?
All Rick Mathis.
Oh yeah.
Rick Mathis.
That's what I said. That was when I first
remember
began
the time
to
he came to the microphone. He just stood there for like 2 minutes. Minutes and say a word.
But dude, the whole
I should do that once. Maybe they'd appreciate it.
The whole prestige thing is when I first realized, I first started tickling around in my brain that the city is ran by realtors, Rick Mathis, contractors. What's a big contractor around here? You always see them building these projects.
I
whatever, you know who
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I do know who
And
you're
then
talking about.
the financiers, and then the government bureaucrats and business they were the only ones that wanted this thing that's going to be bad for environment. It was a shit show. And I realized, I'm like, dude, we have a fucking ruling class right here in the city. Like, and it just blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, we need to seize the means of production. And I started like getting radicalized, you know, but,
You know what? I've been playing it a little soft here. You know what I mean? And
oh shit, we're going deep.
I should. But there's enough shit swirling around my life right now. I guess I don't need to do it. But and there's a lot I'd like to say. I just need to get the word out that 14,000 people aren't going to vote. Get your asses out there to vote.
now.
Put one Max Weaver on that city council. Let's shock them. Let's put me back on there. Let's reboot me. And I'll tell you what, I'll have your back as well as you'll have my back. And it's all about the citizens, literally. And I want to say something, Dylan, because you said you touched on it. The best ideas in any community, seriously now, you can hire any consultant you want from all over the country and fly them in. But the best ideas come right out of your community, the citizens themselves.
Yeah.
They live it, they work here, they drive it, they think it, they wish it. And they're the ones that, time and time again, have come to me with super great ideas. Or how come? How come this? How come that? Why don't we get this? Why don't we do that? You know what? It's truly amazing. And that's what this council, this mayor, and the chamber, the leadership of the chamber, does not give any credence to. And it's time we get back to closer to a citizens' government and have each other's backs and build this thing together.
I agree, man.
On that note, I do think we should end the podcast.
Yeah.
Is there any final things you
Yeah,
want to say? That was a good final statement.
let me do my pitches to round this down, and then
go
if you
ahead.
want to give one more minute to try to
No, go ahead,
mobilize
man.
voters,
That was a
we'll
pretty
do
good
that.
final statement, I think.
But Max, it's been cool as fuck hanging out with you. I think this is my favorite podcast,
Yeah,
at
appreciate it, Dylan.
least since Jordan True. That was a great one too.
I know Jordan.
Yeah, he was on. That was a
He's
great
a little
time.
militant, served in the service and stuff. Almost got killed.
Yeah,
in California.
that was a motorcycle accident,
Yeah,
right?
man. Yeah.
He's a great dude.
Is he moving back? Is he?
He's looking at finding a place here where he can mostly be there.
He's finishing up school.
Yeah,
he's got like another
things
3
going.
years.
Yeah.
He's great. He's thinking about doing a podcast. We're just gonna build this community around this.
I'm
and
thinking
other
about doing a
things.
podcast now. I'm just looking.
Dude, you
at
should.
This is
Because,
kind of
dude,
fun.
you know what? Even if you don't have guests, you can do a podcast. Like, I do another one, kind of. I haven't been doing it recently, called Thinking Out Loud with Double D, where I just fucking talk into the camera for 20 minutes about one subject or a couple subjects. So
Sure.
you could do that.
Yeah.
We'll look at getting you a YouTube set up and shit, man. But anyway, we're going to try to run this down. I'm going to give you guys the usual bullshit. But for real, like, subscribe to the Patreon, bros. Like, come on, we're doing the show for you. You come, you check out my writing. You know, I got poetry and fiction on there. It's cheap as fuck. You ain't even gonna notice. So come and help support me. Help me get paid a little bit so that I can do this more per week. I'd really appreciate it. Like I said, poetry, flash fiction, full-length short stories per month, less than what you spend on coffee or lunch every day. To further support the podcast, check out our sponsor, Bingley's Teas at janeaustinteas.com, where you can find high-end teas handpicked and mixed by the lovely Miss Julia. Or visit Julia in person at 118 East 26th Street, suite number 208, to satisfy that deep tea addiction and be taken on a tea tour of the world. Subscribe, like, share, help grow the channel. Appreciate it, guys.
Right
now,
on.
Max, if there's any last words you want to feed
No,
out to the voters, and
I just hope this is all kind of new to me. It's been very comfortable. You've made me feel very welcome. I just hope that people get to see it. You know what I mean? You say it's on YouTube and other things. Share it. Can they share it off Facebook?
Yep,
and
you'll
stuff?
be able to share it as well. On
Man,
your
get
own
it hard. Have
personal.
all your friends share it. Get the word out
We'll
there.
get
And
the
it's
video
not too,
sent to you so you can post it too.
Yeah, and it's not too late to vote next Tuesday, the 5th. Just show up and vote. I know there's 14,000 of you.
5th,
Again,
guys.
there's 14,000 of you that aren't going to bother, and you need to bother. It's very important to you. Thank you. Appreciate it,
all right,
guys.
take it
Appreciate
easy,
having
guys.
you on,
Max.
Nice
Thank
hanging
you.
out with you. Bye.